Welcome to KGW News at 5. I'm Brittany Fulgers in for Laurel Porter tonight. Multnomah County hit a record high number of COVID-19 cases just as it begins phase 1 of the governor's reopening plan. Officials say some of this is expected and it's too early to be linked to reopening. Galen Etlin talked to top health officials about what people should be doing to prevent the spread.
It's very urgent that we need to bring down this rising trend.
Professor Chunwei Qi is a health expert at Oregon State University, watching Oregon's COVID-19 numbers daily.
The question is not whether we reopen too soon. The question is, are we prepared to reopen? And we are not really prepared.
He says Oregon is making strides in contact tracing and testing, but not on the follow-through of isolating cases.
There is still no vaccine, there is no reliable treatment for this virus, and so prevention is still going to be the key for the next several months.
Dr. Jennifer Vines and Kim Taves with Multnomah County say people are most often passing the disease to friends and family.
Close, tight-knit family, household, and social networks. People may be lulled into feeling more at ease, understandably, around people they know well.
While you may be less likely to wear face coverings, etc. with them, those are the people who probably are more likely to infect you because they're going to be closer to you in your personal space and usually you're going to be interacting with them for a longer period of time.
Multnomah County saw a record number of newly reported cases on Sunday at 84, but on Monday it had new reports of only 17.
Day-to-day look at the numbers is a bit of a roller coaster for people emotionally. I think, again, we expect the numbers to go up.
Multnomah County says it has been able to reach 80 to 90% of people infected through contact tracing, but reaching the people they've contacted is harder. Most cases are clustered within family and social groups of 5 to 15 people. Over the last few weeks of higher numbers, the county says about 9 to 14 people go to the hospital each week for COVID-19.
At least for the past month, we've been okay, both in terms of hospitalizations and hospital capacity.
Statewide, Oregon saw 146 new presumptive cases Monday and 2 new deaths for a total of 192. Hospitalizations also fall into that okay level, with enough beds and ventilators for now. But with the continued upward trend,
in another 2 to 3 weeks, many counties, their hospital will be overwhelmed.
Mass gatherings and protests remain low on the list for spreaders. Multnomah County says only a small handful of people connected to demonstrations have been sick. Meanwhile, all the experts say hygiene and prevention are key, especially around your close connections.
It may feel uncomfortable or awkward to wear face coverings or masks as you are socially connecting with friends, but now would still be a good time to do that, not just when you're in the grocery store, for example.
If more and more people were wearing masks and keep the hygiene practices, we should be able to bring down this pandemic.
Galen Etlin, KGW News.
Despite the spike, Portland bars and restaurants are back open with restrictions, and many businesses are taking advantage of a new permit from the city to help keep customers 6 feet apart outside. PBOT says it's issued nearly 200 permits to expand seating into the street. Most allow for tables and parking spots off the curb, and a handful close streets down to accommodate customers outside. They're called healthy business permits, and with the sunshine and fresh air, customers are coming out.
We do have to figure out a sustainable way to keep business flowing. So I think if it's not impacting neighborhoods and not impacting people being able to get where they need to go, then it's important to support our businesses.
Now, PBOT has also issued about 60 priority pickup and drop-off permits. Those are the green squares that you see on the map. That helps with the to-go orders and deliveries. All of these permits are free for those that qualify, and they're good through the beginning of November. A shortage of protective masks and equipment forced the government to turn to some unlikely suppliers, including a small company in Central Oregon. Investigative reporter Kyle Aboshi found a gift shop supply company in Prineville that landed $1 million contract with the federal government to provide COVID-19 masks. So, how did they pull it off, despite having never worked with the government before and no prior experience acquiring medical products?
We weren't selling a dream. We weren't selling a wishful solution. We have been importing and manufacturing in Asia for over 20 years. And it's that footprint that allowed us to do this.
Coming up on The Story with Dan Haggerty, a KGW investigation will look at this new medical supply chain and how the government has raced to find and deliver vital protective equipment. Officials believe remains found this weekend in rural Washington County are the body of Allison Watterson. She was reported missing near North Plains 6 months ago. A property owner was clearing bush Saturday and discovered the body close to where she was last seen in December. Detectives are looking for evidence in the area that could help with the investigation into her death. 2 men wanted for a mass shooting in Alabama were arrested in Marion County Sunday. Frederick Rogers and John Legg are accused of killing 7 people at a home, then fleeing. They'll be extradited back to Alabama to face murder charges. A Black Lives Matter flag will fly at Gresham City Hall through the end of July. It'll go up as soon as possible. The City Council voted unanimously on that today. This is noteworthy for 2 reasons here. First, Gresham officials say they want to show support to protesters across the country calling for an end to systemic racism and police brutality. Reason number 2, earlier this month, Gresham Deputy City Manager Corey Falls sent an internal letter to city staff. In it, he said he'd been discriminated against by white city staffers, adding it was clear that they, quote, were not going to accept or support a black man in a leadership position. In the weeks that followed, the city's mayor, city manager, and chief of police all stepped down. One city councilor today had this to say.
We as a city council, 6 members of the city council have gotten that information. We're disturbed by it, and we want it corrected.
We're told once they fill their empty positions in city government, Gresham officials plan to implement new policies to address racism and inequality inside City Hall. In the meantime, a Black Lives Matter flag will fly outside. Oregon Governor Kate Brown has called for a special session later this week to focus on bills related to police reform and the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, legislators started hearings to get things ready, with the vote starting on Wednesday. So here are some of the things the governor hopes to accomplish. She wants to solidify her moratoriums on residential and commercial evictions. She also wants to ban debt collectors from taking payments from the Federal CARES Act. Some GOP lawmakers have pushed back against this session. They want to focus on shoring up Oregon's budget. The governor plans to call another special session this summer to focus on that. Now, when it comes to police reform, lawmakers will consider a statewide database to track officers who've been disciplined. They'll talk about banning the use of chokeholds and tear gas and making it more difficult for arbitrators to overturn police discipline.